Hi there VC, Steve Whitty here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Vienna by Ultravox. Now this is the band's fourth album and it's the first album to feature Midge Ure. Midge Ure joined the band. He replaced two people, John Fox, the vocalist, and Robin Simon, guitarists. This also, the album represented the first release on the Chrysalis label. Now, to give a background on Midge Ure, he was previously lead singer in a sort of teeny bop band, Slick, who had a #1 hit in 1976 with Forever and Ever. Sort of dissatisfied with that, the band sort of split up, and he found himself in Rich Kids, which featured Glenn Matlock, who was his post-Sex Pistols band. How he came to join Ultravox was he was working with Billy Currie, who was the synthesizer, violinist and viola player in the band. They'd been working on this with the Visage project, and drummer on the Visage project was Rusty Egan, who played in Rich Kids, and he suggested to Billy Currie that Midge Ure would be a perfect replacement in the band for John Fox, and he put it to the other members, Warren Cann and Chris Cross, that if that was the case, they seemed to get on, and Midge Ure was asked to join the band. Tracks on the album were a group effort, with Ure and Cann providing the lyrics. The album itself was recorded at Rack Studios in February 1980, self-produced by the band with Connie Plank. Now, as I said, this is like the fourth album, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the tracks one by one. It's not going to be a long review, it's going to be a bit of a quick overview. The side one opens up with Astrodyne, and it's an instrumental that it's very much features majestic sweeping synths throughout the track. It reminds me very sort of Kraftwerky, Tangerine Dream type elements to the track. So a good opening. Then track 2, you come up with New Europeans, and this is where the pop element comes into the band, and I think this is what Midge Ure brings to Ultravox. It's very much it's a track that could have easily been released as a single. It wasn't, but it could have been released as a single. And yeah, I think if you've been in a pop band, you never lose that pop sensibility, and I think that came through on this track. Then your third track, you've got Private Lies, which carries on the pop elements a little bit. Again, not a single. Track 4, Passing Strangers, was the second single off the album. It's my personal favourite track on the album. Just a great guitar mixture of the guitars and the synths. Midge Ure was an accomplished guitarist. In fact, he replaced Gary Moore on a US tour for Thin Lizzy, which makes me looked odd because he looked very much like a new wave artist. Ure was great mates with Phil Lynott, and it's sort of just it's a sort of brooding song, sort of like it's sort of like a love song, but not a love song, if you know what I mean. Just passing strangers in the night, passing ships who are just two people, two lonely people that meet up. Its actual track itself is probably the closest track on this album to John Fox era of Ultravox. So that's high praise indeed for this track. Side 1 closes with Sleepwalk, which was the first single. It's a very much heavy synth pop track. Very commercial sounding. Probably is the most commercial sounding track on the album, and not surprisingly, was released as the first single. And it did give Ultravox their first top 40 single, and got them an appearance on Top of the Pops, and sort of introduced the band, relaunched the band. I think many people thought when John Fox left the band that Ultravox were finished, and they were very surprised when Midge was asked to join, and I think there was a few negative comments at the time, purely based on Midge's past. Nothing to do with Midge's ability as a guitarist or composer. It was just the fact that he had been in a teeny bop band, and the Rich Kids did get a bit of a critical pasting at the time, as well as being like a punk new wave supergroup that never quite took off. So moving on to side two, and the opening track is Mr. X. Now, this is a very sparse sounding song. You could argue there's elements of Can in this, but it features Warren Can on vocals. In fact, there's very elements of krautrock in general. Again, a bit of Kraftwerk influence, a bit of Tangerine Dream. To my ears, you may disagree with me, but as I say, it's quite unusual, quite an unusual track. And again, the experimental side continues with Western Promise, the second track. Very much a experimental thing, more of a Can element, I think, to this particular track. But sort of broods, it moves along, and then it slowly eases in to probably the album's Pierce the Resistance, as far as the listening public were concerned. The title track, track 3, Vienna. This has a brooding element. It just sort of built, like all good track, builds up slowly, and then has a crescendo. You've got the synth, the piano, the electronic drums. It's so atmospheric. And then in the middle of the song, you've got Billy Currie on his viola. I think it's his viola. Sort of playing like the solo. It's just a brooding element. And what helped it was released as a single in 1981. And the accompanying video to the song absolutely, I think, was pivotal in really making the pop video an art form, and it's become. It certainly helped sell the single. As I said, single reached number 2 in 1981, and it was kept off the top. It was unlucky, really, not to make number 1. John Lennon's Woman kept it off, and then you had a novelty hit, Joel Dolce's Shut Up Your Face, also kept it off number 1. And it's such the high esteem the public hold of this. The national radio station, Radio 2, BBC Radio 2, held a poll on the favourite number 2, and Vienna was the top number 2, voted the best number 2 ever. The final track on the album is All Stood Still. Now, this became the 4th single. It was released after Vienna. To my surprise, because I thought they were going to re-release Passing Strangers. It's a very it's a lot edgier song. In fact, it's probably the nearest you got to like the new wave, new wave influences with the Rich Kids. It's a very, let's say, aggressive song with the guitars. Guitars come to the front, and it just the lyrics are sort of. The vocal delivery is also, it's, I think, quite aggressive as well. And then the album, the track just closes so abruptly, but we're All Stood Still, and ends the album there and then. And I think the album itself is, I think, as I put down it, to me, the album represents the move away from the experimental sound of John Fox to a more commercial, poppier sound. This is sort of like the bridge crossover. You've got the experimental elements, but you've got that move towards a more commercial sound. And I suppose whether the album would have been as big a success without the title track, we will never know, because the band itself was struggling with syncs for sales initially with the album. At the time of release, the reviews were mixed. Sounds magazine quoted, I quote here, "I dare you to find another band who can mix Eurosystems rock, electronic fairground style with English music with such panache." That's very high praise indeed. Melody Maker felt that the album had weak moments, though it felt it would be a deserved success. NME, I don't think it was a little bit damning in its praise. An album of gaudy, sometimes magnificent, but mostly hollow, eclectic housing songs that replace Fox's epileptical imagery with clumsy descriptions of similar scenery, verbose. That's it, clumsy, verbose descriptions of similar scenery. I have to improve my writing there. As I said, I think it's their strongest album. This is the strongest album by Ultravox. I don't think they ever reached the elements again experimentally with it. It became more popular. Once you've had the popular hit, you tend to write what is more popular, you know. And I think they did some other great songs, but nothing ever really topped this album. The album itself reached number 3 in the UK charts. It was released in the US with a slightly different order. I think Sleepwalk opened the album with Passing Strangers as track 2, and then New Europeans, Private Lives and Astrodyne closed side 1. Side 2 was exactly the same. The singles itself that were released off the album: Sleepwalk reached number 29 in the UK charts, Passing Strangers reached number 57, Vienna, as I mentioned, reached number 2, and then All Stood Still reached number 8. As I said, it's their by far their best album. Now, what do you think? Those that have listened to Ultravox before, do you agree with me, or do you think that they produced better albums, particularly in the mid-year? I think it's more. I really want to compare the mid-year. I don't want to compare mid-year with John Fox. I want to compare all the mid-year albums. What do you think? Well, I hope you enjoyed the review there. Let me know what you think. As I say, thumbs up if you like, thumbs down if you don't. Feel free to comment. I'll always reply back. If you liked what you've seen and you want to see some more videos, feel free to click the subscribe button. I'm feeling rather pleased with myself at the moment. So, until the next video, take care.